Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a common theme I've noticed when I negotiate. Negotiating is a very big part of life. We are in a society, so you are one out of many. There are very few times where you would get your way outright. You usually have to give a little to get a little. This can range from small matters such as deciding what restaurant to go with your friends to something as big as getting a house. You're not going to get a house for free, unfortunately. You have to give something to get something. And the theme I've noticed throughout negotiating all my life, the few times I've negotiated, is just if you know the better you know who you're dealing with, the better the negotiation usually goes. One of my first biggest negotiation was getting a car. This was my first car. It was sometimes in 2018, and I've never had a car before. But my brother, I'm the youngest of three brothers. The middle brother, I think this was his second car, so he knew this is not his first time around the rodeo. He knew what to do, so I brought him along, and my mom was there to make sure I got something safe. And honestly, I just brought the bank account details. I didn't do anything. My brother was the one that did everything. He knew what attachments to avoid. He knew what I should put down as a down payment so that my interest rate, like what I pay, the monthly payment wasn't that high. He even told me, hey, if you do this, you can pay a little more. Basically, it figured everything out for me. I honestly was just there, and as a side effect of that, I got a really good deal. And the year August 17th, 2022 will be my last payment, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. This year, I'm looking forward to something this year. I know a lot has been going on. I have that on my calendar. We'll make it. I have to make it to August, so there you go. And that's a positive way of if you know who you're dealing with, it really helps you a lot. And if you don't know, you can get someone who does know. And that an example of not knowing who you're dealing with is actually also involves my family. My mom was in Maryland. I got the car at the College Park Honda dealership, and my mom was in Maryland at the time, but she's since moved to Texas to be with my oldest brother. So last year, I actually went to Texas for a birthday, to surprise her for her birthday. But I'm the youngest, so I'm a mama's boy. I have to stay for a whole week extra. And we just did nothing. We watched movies, Nigerian movies. We ate food, and we just shopped. It was nice. It was amazing. But I got to meet two of my three nieces. My oldest brother has three daughters. Alexa, she's 16. Joanne, she's 8, and Emma, she's 6. I've already met Alexa before. We've had a prior relationship. She lived here in Maryland with us for about a couple of years. But Joanne, I only met her when she was a kid, when she was a baby. She's forgotten all about me. And Emma, I've never met at all. So yeah, I got to do a lot of things at the same time. And I got to meet them. I really love them. They have their own personalities. I don't have kids of my own, but I understand how why you treasure kids. There are times when I look at them and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But there are also times that they do something. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, it's because they're kids, but still. For an example, Emma, the 6-year-old, will cry crocodile tears just to get attention. By the second day, I learned just to kind of, well, one, the family told me that's just Emma. That's what she does. I mean, they figured out what's the fake tears and what are real tears. And Joanne herself, she really likes her younger sister. Whenever we pick him up from school, she's holding her hand, making sure she's safe. She makes sure she gets in the car first. But even she knows that, okay, she's just trying to get attention. So by the second day, I'm like, okay, this is just who you are. And she's a kid, and you love her for it. But I'm leading up to the story about around the third or fourth day, fourth night actually. I was kind of winding down to go to sleep. It was a school night. The kids also had to go to sleep. And I don't remember what I was doing especially, but it wasn't something that was taking a lot of mental knowledge, a lot of mental power. And Joanne, the middle one, the 8-year-old one, actually wanted to show me a video. I didn't know, I don't know. It didn't seem that important. Like I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go to sleep. I'll look at it tomorrow. And I don't know what happened. She just started crying. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you crying? And it turns out I asked her, why are you crying? It's like, you hate me. I'm like, I don't hate you. We can watch the movie tomorrow. And she said, you never play with me. And I'm like, I do play with you. I hold her all the time and we fly around the house. She's like, she, she behaves like an airplane and I hold her all the time. But she really wants me to see this video. I never know. Like, I watch a lot of videos and I wouldn't cry if someone didn't want to watch them with me. So I just didn't know. So I was like, you know what? If I watch this video with you, would you go to sleep? And then I had to like hold her for like 10 minutes and then she stopped crying and she didn't even watch the video. She was watching me watching the video and I'm like, what's going on? But it shows how little I knew of kids in general and how they can just make. I didn't even know I was in a negotiation. I didn't think it was that important to her, but you live and you learn. And yeah, I hope you guys can learn from those two stories and just try and see if you can pick up any tips from that. Thank you very much.
So Fawaz, thank you very much for that very good speech about negotiating, specifically knowing who you're negotiating with. And then I liked how you tied it into how you're negotiating with family. So I thought that was a unique perspective on this topic that I think a bunch of us have explored a bit, which is negotiating. Starting off with the car negotiation, it really resonated with me. Specifically, bringing your mom into it and not doing anything. That's another reason I have a lot of gratitude for my mom is because she handles my car negotiations. I know if I want the best rate or anything, just bring your mom up there. She'll make sure you get everything you need to get. I really resonated with me. I think you took, a great tactic there. But I think what you were talking about, which is know who you're dealing with, it really is an important part of negotiation. Know who your audience is, know what drives them, what they're interested in, and then try to, use that a little bit to your advantage in your negotiations. So I think that's a key component that came through in your speech. Um, I liked how you moved into your family, and again, that resonated with me as well because of my two young nieces, who I am also learning how to negotiate with. They're at the stage where you just do what they say. But as they get older, you start to learn more and more about different ways to handle them, so to say, or to negotiate with them to get more of your outcomes that you would like to see. So I definitely understand that. So, I think it was a very engaging speech and something that a lot of us could connect with because of the stories that related to things we all have, which are our family, as well as, going and trying to get a car. I think many of us have experienced that also. Um, Things that you may want to improve upon in the basis of your speech. One thing area where I think that you may be able to improve upon is spending a little less time on the build up for the example, and then actually spending more time in the example. So, in the instance of talking about your interactions with your nieces, I believe, or nieces, then you spent a lot of time just exploring the background and you meeting them for the first time and things like that. But if you spent a little bit more time on the negotiation, like uh, you know, how did you get over the negotiation with the older daughter crying, or did you get more into the negotiation and what you learned and what tactics you employed when dealing with the younger siblings as well? That I think that would have made the speech a little bit stronger. And then because you had such great stories, I thought it would have been great to close a little bit stronger with a connection back to the personal ties in those stories. As you go and engage in negotiations with your family, or as you meet your younger nieces and nephews, you may want to think about these different tactics. So I think that would have been a great way to close. It would have tied together your personal aspect with it versus the research and the what you learned about negotiating that you could have shared with us also. Um, and then finally, to challenge yourself, this is my issue. We were both doing like, I think you were standing while you were speaking. And so when you stand, you sort of like rock side to side and move a lot. And I do that myself. I'm always rocking. So I think to challenge yourself, you may want to, when you're standing up, try to focus on at least standing still or moving more purposefully when you're delivering your speech and having a little bit better eye contact. But your hand movements were great. The way you used your voice was great as well. And I think that really helped with delivering your speech and leaving it the impactful impression that it did on us as the audience. So all in all, you did a great job, Fawaz, as always. And as always, again, I look forward to future speeches. And I really love how we learned so much more about you and your family through your speeches as well. So please keep that coming also. So great job.